Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Glenn Southern, I'm the Aroid artist, and this week we're going to have a look at the propagations of the Florida Ghost that we did probably 6 weeks ago now. So I've got them all laid out around me, and hopefully I can show you how each one of the propagations has gone and whether it's taken and been a success or not. So if you didn't see the video where we chopped up the Florida Ghost, it's up there above now, so take a look at that first if you haven't. And what we've got here is it's a Philodendron Florida Ghost, and it was in a position where I liked it and it was doing well, but I wanted to propagate it. And what I did was I just waited for a time when it was ideal and we had some time to literally do a video, and then we just chopped it up on that video. So here we are 6 weeks later and we've got no failures. So the great thing about this video is I'm reporting that everything's gone really well. So I'm going to open up 2 or 3 of them, and I'm going to show you some of the wet sticks, how they've gone as well, and I'm also going to show you how the mother plant looks, because we did change something along the way. So I'll tell you now, actually, the mother plant, we decided to chop it even further after the video, so we chopped that into 2 or 3 more, and I've got all of them here today. So let's just start by taking a look at the wet sticks. So anyone who doesn't know, so a wet stick is where you've got a node, and it's basically chopped down with no leaf, and then you can propagate from that. So if you look here, here's an example of one that's it's taken well with the roots, but if I had to show you on the camera here, so it looks like a dead stick, doesn't it? But what's actually happened is down below in the root system, I'll pull it out because I've already done this and had a look. There's some root rot on there. Well, basically it didn't look particularly good when I put it in there, because this was one of the wet sticks that came from the mother plant. So you can see there at the bottom there's lots of new growth that's looking okay, whereas up here it's quite black and horrible and a bit damp, but it isn't rotting down. It hasn't completely rotted down. So that's the worst of all of the cuttings that I've got. So I'm going to pop that on one side, and we'll move on to some of the more what I would say more successes. So we'll put that on the side there. So this one here is one of the again, it was another wet stick. So it was a chunk of the stem, and as you can see, it's taken and the first leaf has started to protrude. So I'm really happy about that. It's also got a second node here, a second nodule here, which is going to be another leaf, or a bud if you want to call it that. And this wasn't on the original video. This is again part of the mother where I carried on chopping it. So that one's taken absolutely fine. So let's get on to the thing that we really want to look at now. So there's one of the nodes that we chopped in the very first video. So again, that's popping, there's life coming through, so, and I'm not going to take that out. I'm assuming that because that's taken and we've got life coming out, then we're in a good place with that one as well. So that's the wet sticks, which I'm not that bothered about, to be honest with you. But what I really want to show you is some of these. So let me just find the ones that I want to look at. So let's have a look at this one first of all. So this is a one leaf, as you can see. And this one, I'll hopefully on the second camera you should be able to see what I'm doing. I'm taking off the shrink wrap, taking out the stick that I put for support, and then I just look for how much resistance there is. So if it feels like there's a bit of resistance, that usually means it's rooted well. So what we'll do is we'll tip that out and we'll pull it out and we'll have a look at what we've got in here. So this one, pull off the sphagnum. Now, don't know how much you're going to be able to see on that camera, but on this camera I'm hoping that you can see lots and lots of growth. So we've got lots of white tips to the roots, and we've got secondary root growth here. So it's coming out at the top. Ignore the sphagnum that's sticking to it, and then it's branching at the bottom here, and you can see it's all light and there's no rot at all. So that one is probably as good as it gets. So that as a cutting now, that I wouldn't. You can never say it's a guarantee, but there's no reason to believe that that will fail at this stage. And if you look at some of the sphagnum, it's very, very dry. It's barely damp, and I don't water them at all. If anything, I just do a little bit of a spray on the surface, just to give it a little bit of a push. Now, what I have done as like once I think through the 6 weeks, I had a look at how things were going, and I added in a bit more bark, and I added in a bit more, a little bit of compost and a little bit of perlite at the bottom, so that if the roots did do well and they wanted to grab onto something a bit more secure than sphagnum, they'd have something at the bottom. So that one looks like it's done really, really well. I'm just popping it all back now, and then I'll wrap it back up, being a bit careful with this so I don't want to rush it at the last minute and then ruin it. So we'll put that on one side, and we'll take a look at one of the others now. So this one is I was going to say 2-leaf, but it's actually got 3, because it's got the third one that was coming through here. You can see there that was already protruding when we started this. So we'll do that same thing. So we'll do the test where we just give it a pull, and as you can see, it's quite a substantial hold. It's not coming out, you know, super easily, which means that it hasn't rooted that well. So you can see that there is quite a bit of resistance there on the camera. So I'll take the support stick out, and then we'll actually just pull this on camera and show you as it comes out. Hopefully you can see that there. I'm being very gentle, but as you can see, there's quite a substantial root on that one now. So that's got 1, 2. They were aerial roots that have converted over to normal roots, and then not only that, those roots have shot off little side roots as well. So we've got plenty to play with there. 3 or 4 on this side, and then all the way down to the bottom. It's a little bit dark on the end of that one, and that would be a little bit of a worry. But I think overall, all these side shoots, it means that we're in a good place with that. This has continued growing, so that's absolutely fine. And there's no sign of any other buds yet. So, but this leaf is, well, both of those leaves look like they're going to survive. So that will be, you know, that won't be long, maybe another few weeks, and then we'll be in a position where we can add more bark and more compost, and we'll give it a nice, a much more solid mix, but still light and airy, as you would do with a lot of these aroids. So that's another one done and dusted, and we're quite happy with that one. So put the shrink wrap back on. Again, the shrink wrap keeps the moisture in, keeps the humidity really high. Now I've got bubble wrap on this one and shrink wrap on a few of the others. So it's, you know, either way it doesn't matter, as long as it's keeping that humidity high, then generally you'll be absolutely fine with it. So we'll just do a couple more, because I know that they are doing quite well. So we'll pick this one, which is a completely different one. This is one of the earliest leaves that were on the plant, and it's dark green. So I have to be really careful at the minute, because I've got, let me just show you. This is a Florida Ghost, and this is a Florida Beauty. And they look pretty much identical, because obviously they are. They came from, the original parentage of this line is Philodendron squamiferam, and it's crossed with Philodendron pedatum. So the squamiferam, just to give you some sort of like reference, here's a young one. You can see there, this is very young, so it hasn't got the leaf shape, and you can see on here it's got the fuzzy petiole. So you know, this is one of the lines that was used to create these, the Philodendron Beauty and the Ghost. But it hasn't got that look yet that you would, you know, that look that comes from the Pedatum, the shape of the leaf. So let's have a look at this one. So we'll pull off the shrink wrap. And we'll have a look at that. This one's a little bit drier actually, so I think there was a little bit of I don't know whether the shrink wrap completely covered the base off, because this definitely looks drier than the other ones. So we'll just take off the string, and then we'll pull our pot out. You can see there at the base. Do our little pull test, and this one's definitely got a grip. So you can see probably there quite well that it's gripped it pretty well. So I'm just going to pull it out and just see what comes out with it. Definitely a lot drier. In fact, not only drier, but it's really holding on tight. So let's just see what we get out of this one. Oh my gosh, look at that. So I think we can safely say that this one's started to root. This one I think is the most successful, because again, I don't know whether you can see it properly there, maybe better on this camera, but we've got white bright roots right to the end here. I mean, it's absolutely grabbing onto the sphagnum, so I don't really want to pull it off too much because it's so well established. Now that one I would probably plant that now, give it its forever home, and the reason is because hopefully, as you can see, there's new life there. There's a new bud coming out already. So the leaf survived. There's, you know, ample rootage now, so we could probably clean that down and keep seeing how good the roots are. That, you know, there's white roots everywhere, literally everywhere. I'll just zoom in and I'll show you that close up. You can see, you know, it's incredibly healthy all the way through. It is hard. I don't want to pull it out any more than this, but if you just look at the ends here, you can really see how healthy it is. And because of that, because I know there's a bud there, I think that's the healthiest one that we've got. So sometimes drier, less root rot, and it definitely helps to, you know, to keep them healthy like that. So I'm thinking that that's my most successful one. So I've potted it back up, and that'll be one that I'll probably plant that in, as I say, into its forever home this week, simply because of how much rootage it's got. So that's 2 or 3 of them. Now I think I've got about 6 or 7 of them totally. I'll do a count before the end of this, but off camera I will have a look at the others, and I assume that because none of the leaves have gone and there's no sign of rot on any of them, I think we've done quite well really. So I'm pretty happy with all of the cuttings that I've seen so far, and I'm pretty sure we haven't got any failures. Now the mother plants, the way that I did it was this was the mother plant, and it still had a couple of leaves left on it. Now what I did was I didn't like what was happening with the shape or anything like that, so I took those leaves off as well, and they became these. So that gave me another 2, sorry, and a wet stick. And then let me just show you close up. This is what happens with the mother. The new life literally started straight away. I'll take these sticks out so you can really see what's going on. The new life literally came out straight away. So this is a new leaf right from the base of this plant. So that mother's survived really, really well. It doesn't look like there's any issues there at all. And the other plant that I'd like to show you while we're doing this is just the week before we did that Florida Ghost, we did the same with this, which is the Florida Beauty, or a big Florida Beauty that I had to chop. Now this has got incredible new life already. So this is a bud that came out of here, and it came straight up at vertical, as it's as good as it gets, really straight up for me, which is what I wanted. And it's got a new leaf already that's about to come out, so I'll show you that close up now, and you can see that it's wrapped around the cataphyls there. You know, at the back here, this is the cataphyl, and you can see that the next leaf is growing as well, and this leaf that it's showing here, is just ready to unfurl. So the Florida Beauty and the Florida Ghost are incredibly easy if you've got the right conditions, so the right lighting and the right temperature. They just grow without any help from us at all, and keeping that moisture, keeping that humidity high is crucial, and you won't have any failures usually. If you keep it too wet, you'll have failures. If it gets too cold, you might slow the process down, and I don't feed these at all during this process, so all they get is a spray of water. So I'm not trying to give them any boost, or I'm not trying to give them any kind of fertilizer whatsoever. So hopefully that's given you a good idea of what's happening with the propagating of the Florida Ghost, and we'll do another update, maybe let's say another month, and we'll see if we've got some full established plants by then and see what the leaves are looking like. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. We are a new channel, and if you're liking this kind of content, then please give it a thumbs up. It does help us get in front of other plant lovers who might like this kind of thing. And if you like the video, then you might as well give us a subscribe. And if you subscribe, we can let you know when we release new videos, which is hopefully every week. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you soon.